Ukraine is about to hold its national final, and Euroyard is here to break down the songs from Vidbir 2026. So let's just get right into it. Ukraine usually puts on a good show. Ukraine usually does very, very well in the Eurovision Song Contest. So this contest, Vidbir 2026, it's going to take place on Saturday, the 7th of February. Now, last year, there were only about this many performers, but it was a very long show. So I would think you'll want to clear your schedule if you're particularly invested in the Ukrainian national selection this year. It may go 3 or 4 hours. I would not be surprised in the slightest. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes longer than that. So there are 10 contestants. There are a few returnees from last year. If you look through the list, you will see a few familiar names of bands or performers that were at Vidbir last year. However, there are also 2 prior Eurovision performers. So that is going to be a big draw this year. And Ukraine, of course, as I said, they usually tend to do well once they get to Eurovision. And in case you're wondering how well, you remember that they won in 2022. But as part of a larger trend, they have 5 top 10s in a row. So Ukraine just doing very, very well at the contest in recent years. And based on what I heard in the national final, and we're going to rank the 10 songs here in a minute, based on what I heard, I think they got a really good chance of doing it again. I think Ukraine is really going for it again this year, and this should be a good show. So, of course, none of this is personal. It's all business. Even if we have your song in last, I just want to wish all of the performers luck. I hope all of you do amazing, and we'll be rooting for all of you. So, getting this started, 10th place, the song that we have here is called Lightkeeper. And even though we have this song in 10th, I just want to stress that certainly not every national final that I've listened to so far can say this, but I don't think that there was a single terrible song in this whole final. Not all of them were for me, but I don't think there was a single bad song here. So I think Ukraine and the televoters and the juries in Ukraine are certainly going to have their pick of whatever they want to send, because there's not a bad song in the whole bunch. And there were times that this particular song, Lightkeeper, was a little slow. And in a contest as competitive as this, I think it's going to come down to the details like that. And that could be the difference for a song like this. I am getting a hint of gospel music from this performance, which it's not my scene, but he is a fine singer. Now in 9th place, getting 2 points from us, the song is called Crawling Whispers by the Aliens. I respect that this song has its own perspective and its own personality, and it knows its lane and it stays in its lane. I do think that this song is going to have really bold staging to stand out in this contest. I'm not sure that the energy really carried all the way through in the studio version of this song, so I think the visuals on stage are going to really make or break this performance, so of course, good luck to them. Now moving up into 8th place, the song is called Moja Zemlya, which means my land in English. So this song, it did pick up and get more interesting, and it did add some layers as we went along. It's just the first minute or so of this song was definitely a lullaby or something very adjacent to a lullaby. And I know that it was a lullaby because it was actually starting to make me doze off a little bit. That might not be a great sign for a song that's trying to stand out and win a contest like this and go to Eurovision. However, I don't have this song at the bottom because, like I said, I think it was actually a fairly complex song, did add some layers as it went on, and the faster parts of the melody were actually a little bit catchy. It does, like I said, have some layers to it, and I do respect it. Now, in 7th place, the song is called Herzi by Hayat, who, of course, was at Vidbir last year. I would say the song is fine. I would judge it as average. You can hear some of the vocal range that he has in this song, which I do appreciate. I think it has a nice sound to it. I just think that maybe a little bit more emotion needs to come through. When I see this on stage, I'm going to need to feel this song's presence, because I think that's going to make all the difference here. The caveat is that sometimes these things, these intangibles, they get lost in the studio versions of these songs, but I will be paying attention to that when I watch this. We are already up to 6th place and getting 5 points from Eurojard Vidbir 2026. This song is called Open Our Hearts by Valeria Force. I think the singing in this song was fine. I think her vocal skill on display was probably towards the top of the table amongst the 10 songs that we heard. I do hope that she is able to pull off the vocals live. The song does have some complexity to it. Yeah, it's a little slower at times, but then it picks up and then she drops a beat, which was a nice change of pace. Like with some of the others, I really do think this one is going to come down to staging. Up to number 5 and getting 6 points from us. This song is called Read Nim by Lileka, and the song title means native. So I feel like I might be going a little bit against the fans with this one, having this one only in 5th place. I feel like this is probably one of the favorites. My main critique of the song is that I thought it was maybe a little dull. I do think she's a fine singer. No question in my mind that she is a talented performer. I don't judge songs based off of whether or not I think they would work at Eurovision. It's a secondary consideration after I do my rankings, because if you've seen some of the national final videos I've done, like for example from last year, I do sometimes put songs up near the top that don't necessarily even have a chance of winning the competition, and certainly if they go to Eurovision they probably get lost in the mix. It's just whether or not I think it's a good or well done song. This is one that I'm actually not too sure that it would do super well at Eurovision. I think the song does get a little more interesting, and it's up in 5th place because I do think she's got talent. There are parts of the song that might be a little too slow to hold people's attention. So how are they going to bridge that gap when this is performed live? I am very curious to see how she does live on stage. In 4th place, getting 7 points from us, this song is by Mr. Vell. It's called Do or Done. So this is an interesting song. I wouldn't say it's something that I would seek out on my own to listen to, but it is an interesting song. Now, when the song starts, you think this is going to be a snooze. This is going to be a generic ballad. We've heard this before. But then as it turns out, that's not what it is. I can't say that I necessarily think the lyrics are great, but damn if this song doesn't end up having a catchy beat. It ends up getting very catchy at times. He does have some very, very apparent vocal skill. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I think all of the components work, but he does have that skill. And there are individual elements of this song that I think are actually quite good. So another one, just like all of them, curious to see how it goes when it's live on stage. But now we're getting to the podium, the medals. And in 3rd place, the bronze medal goes to a returnee from last year. This is by Molody. It's called Legends. So this song kind of hits hard. The first line of the song, I'm going to read the lyric. It is, raining drops got colored red again. And you can, I think, piece that one together, what they're talking about. And in fact, I think just reading through the whole song, you can see the meaning behind it. You can see that this is a special subject to them and that this is a difficult subject for them. Now, last year, the song that they did, their song was about their home city of Mariupol, and you know what they've been going through the last couple of years. So there is an imagery in their lyrics this year just as there was last year. I do think at the end of the day that this is a pretty powerful song. I do think they're going to stage it well, and I do think that you're going to get that passion and emotion that carries through in the live performance, so good luck to them. So now we have arrived at the top 2, and both of the top 2 were previous Eurovision contestants. So which one do we have in second, and which one do we have in first? Well, the one that we have in second is Jerry Hale, and the song is called Catharticus. So now look, I had very little doubt that Jerry Hale was going to turn in a good song. She delivered, and she's got a decent shot, I think, of getting back to Eurovision this year. Just like her first entry, it was done with Alyona Alyona. There is a strong religious imagery in this song. The lyrics to the song are basically a prayer. But that might not work for everybody, and I understand if that element of it doesn't work for everybody, though I am going to give her the benefit of the doubt again, because we saw what she did with another song with those overtones and undertones and tones all around a couple of years ago, and she did extremely, extremely well. I thought it was an amazingly done performance. And I do think that Jerry Hale has the best vocals in the contest this year. I certainly wouldn't have put this any lower than second. And the only person that I could have even possibly given douze point to in this contest, if not Jerry Hale, was Monacat at number 1. The song is called Toot, which means here. Of course, you might be thinking, who the hell is this? Well, if you saw her picture, you would know who she is. But if you need me to connect the dots for you, Go A was the band, or they may say it differently in Ukraine. That's how I'm saying it. The song was called Shum. And if you heard Shum, you would remember it. Because it was 2021 Ukraine's entry, and it was a banger. It was real, real good. So we already know that she knows how to turn out a good Eurovision performance. I do get faint hints of Shum, that kind of energy in this song, which is definitely not a bad thing. The beat keeps me interested throughout the entire performance. And then about 2/3 of the way through, the electric guitar comes in, and then we got another switch up. So nice little layer that she adds there. This is pretty good, and I would not hate if it won. So those were the 10 songs ranked. Let's go through the final notes on this contest. Like I said at the beginning, I think Ukraine is very clearly going for it again this year. This is a pretty strong national selection, and as I mentioned, I genuinely don't think there is a bad song in this group of 10. I genuinely don't. It's just based on your preference. Any of the top contenders in this contest, I think, would be fairly assured of getting to the grand final at a minimum. And like I said, Ukraine has had 5 top 10s in a row. I think they'd very much like to make it 6, and I think they very well might. And expect a good show here in Ukraine this year, if not a long one. But for more on national finals, and good luck to everybody in Ukraine, but for more on national finals, follow us here at the Euroyard, like and subscribe, follow us on social media. We'll see you soon.